Good morning from Moscow. It's Monday the 24th of August. In a moment, no sign of Vladimir Putin ending the war in Ukraine. First, Russia's fuel crisis is once again headline news in Nezavisimaya Gazeta, which highlights the country's failure to protect its oil facilities from Ukrainian drone attacks. The headline, "Is there a way out of the petrol crisis if infrastructure isn't protected?" The oil refining industry is constantly having to recover from drone attacks. It is virtually impossible to lead the country out of the fuel crisis amid constant attacks on unprotected infrastructure. And Russians are wondering why protective structures have not been set up around our storage facilities and refineries, especially since in Arab states such protection has long been put in place. From the Russian government paper Rosenberg Gazeta, a reminder that now that lower grade petrol has been put on sale to help ease fuel shortages, petrol that can damage some components in modern vehicles, drivers need to find out the full details of fuel they're filling up with to work out what emissions class it is. From Komsomolskaya Pravda, we see that Vladimir Putin has commented on Russia's petrol problems. He's playing them down, but also making it clear that it's Prime Minister Mikhail Mishustin who's in charge of sorting them out. There are certain inconveniences for people, but the government, of course, must keep this under control. As for Russia's war on Ukraine, no change of position from the president. The war goes on. This is the Russian army paper Krasnaya Zvezda, Red Star. "Victory will be ours," President Putin told the Congress of United Russia, the party of power. The Rossiyskaya Gazeta, "No turning point in the confrontation with Russia could happen and hasn't happened. The Kiev regime and its sponsors cannot get, haven't got, and never will get the advantage." Izvestia, Russia has made it quite clear that as far as it's concerned, settlement of the Ukraine conflict must be based on realities on the ground. There's clearly no desire in Moscow for a ceasefire, which the authorities here believe would benefit Ukraine more than Russia. Moskovsky Komsomolets, Ukraine's chief task now is to take a break, restore its infrastructure and rebuild weapons stocks. On public opinion, a political analyst tells the paper that Russians are demanding that the authorities are harsher towards Ukraine and show more initiative. He claims that there is a demand for escalation, for increased pressure, and to accelerate to the full the special military operation. There are no calls for peace on Ukraine's terms. There is a demand for peace on Russia's terms and the mandate for the use of increasing force, to the point that the number of people demanding the use of nuclear weapons is growing, regardless of the consequences. And yet a recent poll by the Levada agency showed that around 2/3 of Russians favour peace negotiations now over a continuation of the war. Is there really a groundswell of public support for harsher, tougher, for increasing force? Remember, a few days ago, the only anti-war party to have been registered for next month's parliamentary election, Yabloko, was suddenly removed from the ballot. It's widely believed that that decision reflects concern on the part of the authorities that Yabloko's anti-war message was striking a chord with a section of society. The political analyst concedes that in Russian society, the level of anxiety has risen significantly and now exceeds the level of calm. Anxiety is a breeding ground for protest sentiment. In this state, people are more prone to impulsive actions. Well, that's all for this morning, except I can't go without a joke from this morning's Komsomolskaya Pravda. We bought our pet rat a giant cage, 4 floors, little stairs, all the comforts of home. Now we're not feeding it much, so that it realises the hard way what it's like to have a mortgage.